Hey guys, and welcome back. So today's video I'm hoping will be short and sweet. It's going to be kind of an update on all things growing, greenhouse, garden, and spring. So I've got bulbs popping up. I've got blueberries with buds. I've got garden beds planted out already. So I'm going to update you on what we have growing inside on our shelves, what we have growing in the greenhouse, as well as seeds I've started, and what we've moved out to our raised beds. I've got 2 raised beds planted this past weekend. I have a lot going on right now. Spring is our busiest time. We have baby goats, we have milking, we have a lot of home updates going on. So we're waiting on one more goat to kid, and we will hopefully get that on video this time. We also have metal roofing coming. We are putting on new roofing for the house, so I will record that when we do that. We're also working on updating our second bathroom. I am currently recording and editing all of that. I don't want to put that up until I have more content in the video. It's going to be kind of a long video. However, I hate to leave you guys hanging and basically doing it one project at a time, like tiling the floor, putting in the new toilet, putting in the new vanity. So I'm trying to cram a lot of content into one video and not make it too long, and then post that. It will probably still be about 3 videos, but I'm hoping to get that up by the end of the week. So let's get inside and look at what we have growing in there, and then we will come back out and I will update you guys out here. All right, I'm just going to start from the top and go down. I filled a couple 6-packs the other day to start a couple new seeds. Up here, all of our trays are kind of mismatched at the moment just because we have so much growing. I've got balsam tom thumb, candy tuft, baby's breath, an unknown shade flower, uh, baby blue eyes, English wallflower, forget-me-nots, a bunch of different shade flowers up here that came from a shade flower mix, but I like to separate the seeds for areas that I know I'm going to be planting individual flowers, and then I will sprinkle the mix out later. Let me show you the packet if I can find it. Made in the shade flower mix, assorted species. These are from Botanical Interest, and this is just the variety. And again, I separated a bunch of the ones that I could tell the difference from and planted those. The unknown shade flower is one of these. However, I know all the seeds were the same, so all of those flowers will be the same no matter what they are here. I do have a couple of like red beefsteak. Those haven't popped up yet, but I've planted those. We've got red cherry marigolds, bachelor buttons, Roma tomatoes, alpine strawberries, and some more Jersey Devils. These are just another round of tomatoes, as well as some random things. Like I said, everything's pretty random right now. We're just fitting in what we can fit in. Everything on this tray is our big slicing tomatoes, except for these 2. Those are some of our lemon spice jalapeno peppers that couldn't fit on the next shelf down, so I will get to that. We've got great germination. We've got orange accordion. All of those are popping up. The red beefsteak tomatoes haven't started popping up, but those were planted later. Let's see. These are the spear green in these smaller pots. Again, great germination. Now down to the second row. These are all of the peppers that I potted up. I got a lot of these potted up the other day, but we've got serranos, jalapenos, the lemon spice jalapenos. Over here, this tray is a lot of our paste tomatoes. Again, they look really great. Up here, we've got a couple herbs, things like cilantro, some purple basil, some dill. I just watered, so some things are kind of laying down. Over here are more of our peppers, but these are our sweet peppers. So I've got our California Wonder, our Sweet Bell Blend. Then down here, just some peppers I didn't get to pot up. These are our Scotch bonnets. Right here, the black velvet nasturtiums. These also had great germination. Both of those, one's a 4-pack, one's a 6-pack, but those look good. The rest of this is a couple of tomatoes and then a second round of peppers. So this is just a lot of another round of tomatoes, as well as another round of the lemon spice peppers. Over here, I've got some more second round peppers, cayenne and poblano. I got these from Oregano Republic, and unfortunately the first round didn't germinate, so I'm trying a second round. If they don't germinate, I will be purchasing them from a greenhouse up the road, and I'll take you along when we do that. Sweet Bell Blend. I did just start these recently, but it looks like there's one popping up right there. And then we've got some more jalapenos, California Wonder. And in the back, we've got pansies, and those are coming up beautifully. Over here we've got petunias. I start these early. They take a long time to grow, but they are doing really great. They all look very nice. All right, so I think that's it for inside here. I am going to sort through this mess of seeds and hopefully find some more celery seeds. I do need to plant more celery. I think I'm going to direct sow it in the beds that I've already planted out in. So let's head outside and I'll show you those. Okay, in front of the house here, I did put some of our goat manure on top of these bleeding hearts, and those are going to be popping up. They were already popping up nicely. I've got a small blueberry here. This is a new one this year. We had a bleeding heart here previously, and unfortunately it got too much sun here, so we're going to put a blueberry here because we have another blueberry over here that is on its second year and looks incredible. I don't know if you can see all those. They look amazing. I did trim it up a little. I also added some of our goat compost and goat manure there. Over here we have a lilac bush that is on year 2. I'm hoping that this gets a lot bigger this year and fills in this corner. All of our daffodils around this tree are popping up. Our lavender looks great. We've got our rosemary, our thyme. You can see the thyme's popping right back. Our rose has got all new growth everywhere. If you remember, I did a short video on trimming the rose up, and now it looks amazing. So this is one of the raised beds that I planted a bunch of stuff in, and as you can see, the tulips in front of it are looking incredible. I can't wait to show you guys the tulips in front of the greenhouse. Those also look really great in this bed. Let me turn the camera around and I will show you. So I use this netting on a lot of rows and raised beds and things like that, especially when my seedlings are really young, just because the birds will get to them. But you can see I've planted a bunch of dwarf kale. All these things have been in the greenhouse, so they have gotten pretty low temperatures. We even had a couple nights where it was 18 and 16 degrees in there. I've transplanted out a lot of my beets. Those all look really good. And then in here we have cabbage and cauliflower. So I can't remember exactly what variety this cabbage is. I can tell you once we get into the greenhouse. But this is our snowball cauliflower, our dwarf kale, and our beets in this bed right here in front of the greenhouse. I will link that netting below. It comes in a pack. It's on Amazon. It's really great. I want to say it's 4 feet by 15 feet, which is great for like ground rows, long beds like this. I don't have an Amazon storefront or anything, but I will link it down below. It has been a lifesaver, especially with cabbage moths and worms. Another thing I got done was our cattle panels out here. So these look great. I've got 2 on this side of our patio. I'm still looking for a cast iron bistro set for here. Haven't found one yet. They're $100 at like Home Depot and Lowe's, but I'd like to get one secondhand. And I did 2 over there as well. You can see I've started laying compost and mulch. I put cardboard under the compost and then mulched it really well. I moved these out here. I did take the wheels off these. These again are a Vago self-watering bed. There's no water in them because we've been getting a lot of rain. I've turned the drain down so that way it pours out. I will tip those back up as it gets warmer. Over here, I did a small little area with our bok choy. Those look good. I forgot to move the net over it last night, and you can see the birds have snacked on it. So I will move this back over just to keep it protected. It is kind of chilly today, so this will just help keep it nice and warm. Again, all of this stuff has been in the greenhouse where it's got really chilly, 16 to 18 degrees. I check my asparagus every day. Last year in March, we had asparagus popping up. It's a lot colder this year, and I haven't seen anything yet, but I will keep you guys updated as always. This is the second bed. So I've got 2 rows of bok choy, a couple beets, some more beets. Our savory cabbage is over here. I've got cabbage there, and I've kind of kitty cornered them. And then in around them, I've got some dwarf kale. And over here, I've got a little bit of celery. Another dwarf kale. I'll probably sprinkle some more celery seeds in around the edge. I like to fill my beds really, really full. It cuts down on weeds. If the plants are growing, the weeds can't grow, they don't have the room to grow. You can always plant your plants in the recommended spacing. And as these get bigger, I will go over to our pile of mulch and I will fill this bed in just to keep the weeds down. Again, the closer they are, the more mulch you use, the less weeds you have, and that's the goal. Whew, it is a bit chilly out here right now, but I've got my winter sown jugs over here. Those are still doing really good. But look at this garlic. I was checking it out the other day. I hope you can see that. It looks incredible, nice and thick and strong. Our garlic this year is going to be really great. A lot of these germinated. They look amazing. Again, this row has cardboard and mulch to keep down the weeds. But I've gone and planted some more kale. Right here is Swiss chard, kale, and then some bok choy around this rose, which also has new growth. Down here you can see we've got a peony popping up. This is really pretty. I shared which variety this was in a previous video. And then over here, look at all of these tulips. I want to say every single tulip has popped up. They look amazing. These tulips are from Pollen Bulb Company. I'll tag them down below for you guys. The other day I stopped at Walmart and they had gladiolus bulbs on sale. So I interplanted those with these, and the plan is that both of these bulbs will come back year after year. The gladiolus bulbs will be in flower later than the tulips. Tulips are really, really pretty once they flower for about a couple of weeks, and then after that they die back. The gladiolus bulbs will last all the way into summer. So we should have a lot of really great color here every year in front of the greenhouse from here on out. Back here I also planted a bunch of kale, bok choy, and Swiss chard. And as the season goes on, you can see I planted it kind of in the middle row. I will plant lettuce on the outside row. I try not to plant stuff too close to the greenhouse because it gets too much shade. I did take one of these seed packs of catnip and sprinkled it in here. I've been checking for germination. I haven't seen any sprouts yet, but I'm hoping we get some catnip because we do have a wonderful barn cat who deserves a good treat. Let's check out the temperature in here. Whew, 57 degrees. Yesterday it did get up to 99. It looks like the low in here was 26. I'm not gonna flip the screen around. If you can't read it, you can't read it. You'll have to trust me. It's so much work to take several different clips and mirror them. It's just how I record. I don't know. I use my phone. I do good to get done what I get done. So our cabbage is snowball cabbage, and I have a ton of the golden acre cabbage left. All of the cabbage that was out in the bed by the greenhouse is that variety, and I did leave the tags out there. The one in front of the house, again, I misspoke. It is golden acre cabbage. Let me turn the camera around so I can kind of get you guys a close-up of everything that's growing in here. So again, cabbage and cauliflower. Over here we've got a bunch of our lettuces, our greens, so our spinach, cinnamon red, endive, oak leaf, romaine, and all in the back are the same. I did 2 of each. These are the beets that I planted out, and as you can see, they were getting too wet and they were basically dying and rotting. They were rotting right at the stems, so I had to get them planted out. They were getting too big and too wet here. Over here, we've got more of our carnations popping up. Great germination there. Our snapdragons here have started popping up. Those are the cherry twists from Baker Creek. These are the dying onions, and I did go through them the other day. These are the ones that I've gone through. These are the ones I haven't touched, but I trimmed them up really, really short. They do look great, the ones that survived. I pulled any that were dead out. They look amazing now just because, again, they are cleaned up. They have been trimmed and everything. This is more celery, so I've got a couple there. I've got one there. I got one there popping up. Again, I did bring out a seed packet of celery, which I think I'm going to direct sow in a couple places. Okay, now for something that I did not get to record everything down here, all these random 6-packs, these are all peas, and I still have some more pea seeds, so I'm gonna get those started in the 6-packs inside, but you can see they're already starting to try and break through the soil. Those look good. Down here, a bunch of our alyssum is sprouting. Those are doing great. Calendula popping up, or calendula. Don't care how you pronounce it. Great flower. Poppies. If you remember, poppies don't like to be transplanted. They don't like to be covered, but you can see them. They're doing amazing. All those seeds are starting to sprout. The ones back there look a little bit bigger. They're probably getting more sunlight. Let's go over here. I am so impressed by these. These are the seed sown dahlias that we did. We did 2 per each of these pots, 2 per each of these cells in these 4-packs, and almost every single one has germinated so far. They look really great. Our second round of onions is finally coming up. These are definitely going to be our star of the show. The other onions, they got moved out too soon. It got too cold. Those couple of 16, 18-degree nights. This tray of marigolds looks really great. Over here are all of the snapdragons. These look so good. These are the cherry twist ones. Again, I started some more over there. Look at that. These are the snow white ones, the ones that I saved seeds from. These look great. I've got a couple back there that are really tall. I did have to move my lemon tree out here just because I didn't have room in the house for it, so I trimmed it up. I gave it some fertilizer, and I've been watering it pretty consistently. I just keep checking it over. I am kind of nervous because one side of it is growing and is a little heavier than the other side. However, you never want to cut off more than 20% of your lemon tree. So we will keep checking in on this year. This is about 4 to 5 years old. It had a really rough start the first couple years. You can see it basically died off. We had to cut it and start new. And I'm hoping that we get some citrus flowers this year. I don't even care if we get fruit. I just want some flowers. We've got our climbing rose over here. I've been watering it, but it is struggling. It needs to get out. I've got to find somewhere to plant this in the next week or so. So about the snapdragons, you will see a lot of information on the internet about how to plant snapdragons, where to plant snapdragons, all of that. You can top snapdragons, you can leave them single, you can do whatever you want, whatever works for you. Gardening is not one size fits all, and that's what I always say. However, my preferred method, as you can see with like this one, there are 2 snapdragons in here. I'm not going to thin those. I'm not going to clip them. I'm going to plant them out just like that when it comes time to plant them out. And my reason is the year that I planted them out together, they did incredible. They held up against the wind really good, against the rain really good. The single ones ended up falling over, ended up breaking. We have really high winds here. The other day we had 70-mile-an-hour winds that flipped over our goat lean-to. So we got to bring the car out into the pasture and flip that back over because it weighs like 400 pounds. But I find when I plant some of my herbs and flowers together, they hold up a lot better against the weather. So that's just how I prefer to do it, and that's how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to thin them or do anything like that. They're going to get planted out just the way they are, and they will be perfectly fine and just as beautiful. I'm going to head back inside, and I think that was all for today. Let's check on the grapes really quick because I thought I saw new growth on these. So you can see, or I don't know if you can see, but those little buds are getting bigger and bigger on this stick here. Let's go check the other one on this side. Oh yeah, this one too. So you can see the little buds on this are starting to get a little bit bigger. That is a good sign. All right, I think that is all for today. And as always, I will take you guys along as things continue to grow and as we progress in the garden. Again, it's really hard to keep up in the spring when things get so hectic and there's just so much happening every day. But I will do my best. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next video.